discussions on whatever your heart desires. I would like to read from a short section of the book we are reading. Today we are reading In Love at Ease. This is a book about a spiritual master known as Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was alive not too long ago. We recount various stories from his life of how he touched the hearts of millions. In this second chapter, In Love, the second part of said chapter concerns self-love and a concept called Atmanishta. Bhagwan Swami Narayan, who is the Ishta Devata, the personal form of the divine that this guru looked up to, states in the Vachanamrut, which is another text that we've been reading together, that a bhakta, a devotee with Atmanishta, can overcome the fear of death. Why don't we ask Mataji? Mataji, could you explain to everyone what Atmanishta means?
Namaste, dear Yam and beloved Sangha. Atmanishta means abiding in the self, dear ones. It is the unwavering immersion in our true nature, the Atman. Think of it as being like a drop returning to the ocean, finding peace and oneness. Om Shanti.
Beautiful. With this inner strength, one can also overcome insecurities associated with failure and not belonging. Atmanishta does not guarantee immortality or continuous success. Rather, it is the key to never feel despondent and helpless. It gives one the strength to face failure and death head on. Swamishri finished his meal in Los Angeles and was chanting the Swami Narayan mantra while turning the beads in his mala, rosary beads, prayer beads. A bhakta, a devotee, was reading a newspaper article to him about a growing number of Americans worrying about an expected apocalypse in the summer of 1981. Classic. People were spending thousands of dollars building chambers and underground bunkers. The bhakta, the devotee, stopped reading and waited for a reaction from Swamishri. He smiled, raised his hand with the mala beads and said, "We have nothing to fear. We do not come, nor do we go. We are sitting at God's feet in Akshardham, the celestial abode. If you know yourself to be beyond the body and the mind, to be the Atman, the true self, then death is just another happening." Swamishri asked the bhakta to put down the article and then requested the sadhus, the monks, to read Vachanamrut Loya 2 on overcoming the fear of death. Swamishri used to say, "Death is inevitable, but with Atmanishta and faith in God, one can find the strength to embrace and accept it." Swamishri did not just speak of fearlessness, he lived it. Swamishri finished meeting a long line of bhaktas, devotees, in the meeting room and returned to his residence. As he was about to begin a meeting, Gnaneshwar Das Swami and other sadhus came inside to sanctify some flowers. Swamishri asked who the flowers were for. Gnaneshwar Das Swami replied, "There is a young boy here with his family. He has an infectious disease that has caused more than 4,000 lesions all over his body, Hodgkin's lymphoma. The family hoped Swamishri would bless the boy from a distance. His physicians had lost all hope and did not think he would survive the bout with cancer without a miracle. Swamishri was moved by the boy's plight. "Flowers? That is not enough. Bring him into the room." The sadhus politely refused. "Swamishri, many of the lesions are open and may be infectious. We cannot risk bringing him into your room." Swamishri immediately stood up and asked to be taken outside. He came outside and looked at the child from a distance. He blessed him with raised hands and a smile. Swamishri started asking the family questions and inched closer to the boy. In a matter of minutes, Swamishri was standing by the boy's side. Before anyone could say no, Swamishri blessed the boy. He gently blessed the boy's entire body with his hands and prayed for his recovery and well-being. Afterwards, the sadhus asked Swamishri why he took the risk of touching the boy when some of those lesions were open and filled with pus. He did not hold back in his explanation. "What is there to fear? Did you see how he was suffering? It is my seva and bhakti, my selfless service and loving devotion, to comfort him and his family. Their faces lit up when I walked to them and touched the boy's arms and head. As for illness and death, it will come one day anyway. If you experience yourself as Atman, then what is there to fear? The Atman is imperishable." This fearless embrace of death radiated from the lives of hundreds who crossed paths with Swamishri. One of the most exemplary cases of this fearless attitude can be found in the story of Niral Patel of Chicago. Niral was born with polycystic kidney disorder. He had both of his kidneys removed when he was just 15 months old. When the transplant was rejected by his body, the last transplant in fact, the doctors had to accept that there was nothing else they could do. Niral had survived 72 surgeries, and all with a smile. If his mother or relatives ever sat by him and cried, Niral would encourage them to smile and have faith. "My body is suffering, but my Atman is full of life and at peace." Hello Nunya, Radhe Radhe. I did not believe the quotes that were being attributed to a young man who had suffered so much physical pain. I asked to see the video of the interview, and I was flabbergasted. Niral was not only calm and collected, but he was full of vigor and passion. He spoke as if he was living in an exalted state. Niral was not oblivious. He had thought through death and the outcomes of the surgeries. He knew that death was inevitable. He also knew that it would be painful. Yet, Niral chose to relish in the greater reality of the Atman and not fear death, not be burdened by the pain felt by the body. "How can this be called suffering?" he said. "I am enjoying every minute in the memory of God and Guru. The pain my body feels is not the ultimate reality. The joy my Atman feels is, I am ready." I watched the interview again and again. It was difficult to watch him struggle to speak, move, and at one point even gather his thoughts. I was trying to find Niral. I asked myself repeatedly, who is speaking? Is it Niral, the patient? Niral, the bhakti? It was almost as if Niral sort. It was almost as if it wasn't Niral, but the Atman within. It was not magic or myth. There were no crystals or talismans. It was understanding. It was wisdom. It was self-love. It was Atmanishta. Niral had transcended to a place where he could embrace death without fear and morbidity. He was ready for this next phase in his journey because he was not alone. He did not feel alone. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was guiding him, walking with him. He had helped him love the divine within his Atman, his self. And let's pause our reading of In Love, at Ease there for now. So thank you for listening, everyone. And now we may open the floor to discussions on all things which you desire.